Hi, I'm Otile Martins. This is Spanish 2 secondary level. We are going to discuss the data of doctor's visit and health issues for Module 8.
My groups are divided in three. I have the higher level, the green, shows understanding of the topic study, which is doctor visits and health issues on secondary level. They do have annotation skills. They can organize familiar written vocabulary and sentence. They have control of the verb to hurt in Spanish. They can expand that theme to give new approaches, just as suggested by Jackson 2018. So they are higher level. Um, the group two are on level, and I say on level because I have 5 question multiple choice. Each question is 20 points. So there is no way the students are going to be on grade with 70, which is passing grade, but they were going to be or 80 on the pre and post test. They understand the written vocabulary and they do have some control about the written language. They do need support with annotations in order to get better understanding of the main idea and details. They need visual support with vocabulary charts. They do need to have some vocabulary with scaffolding sentences. They need to practice the verb doler. They need to increase control of past tense. Students 1, 6, 10, 11, 15, 17, those students here on the bottom are level blue. My group, orange, those are the lower level. They do not know the vocabulary. The theme is Dr. Health issues. They need to practice the vocabulary using all kind of word graphics, and also they need to have some support of visuals and scaffolding sentences. They need to practice more annotations to the details and main idea. They do need help with drilling pretérito and past. Right on the bottom you see group 3, the students that are on lower level.
Here we see the pattern of learning with 24.12% increase on the overall class average. However, I see two problems. First, I have an increase of the number of students that goes to the low level, the orange group. And second, my I had 3 students that was on level on the blue group and became on the orange after the post test. The pretest shows that question 1, vocabulary in spare sentence, and question 2, grammar vocabulary in spare sentence, had different scores. The first question with vocab outside the context had a very huge failing. However, the grammar question, they succeed very well. The other 2 questions are about reading comprehension. Here's the questions of the pretest and vocabulary question in a spare sentence. On the first question, outside the context, got a very bad result. However, a spare sentence for the grammar point on the question 2 of the pretest got a higher grade than any other question of the pretest. Noticing the success of the question 2 as grammar in spare sentence from the pre-test, I implement that twice for the post-test for question 1 and question 2. However, I had to investigate why question 5 of the post-test had such amount of error compared with the pre-test. Now, comparing the questions from pre and post test. As I previously mentioned, question 1 focused on vocabulary, and now on the post focus on grammar. Even though it's in spare sentence, I guarantee the level of correctness of the students because I noticed that happen on the pretest. But question 5, I had a problem. So what I did was instead of testing on using Google Form, I changed the test environment. I put a paper and pencil and differentiate just for the students that got the question 5 wrong on the first time they took the post test. End up, my students got a better grade when it was paper and pencil because they was able to do annotations. And they also justify correctly why they pick the correct choice. Annotation is differentiation on its own. However, giving space for open answers was even better. The students that previously made a mistake on question 5 in the first time they taking the question on the post test increased 23% of correctness with annotations in paper and pencil and open answer to reflect and justify their answer. Now, going back to the original data of the pre and post test, you can see the number of students with each correct answer using the Google form. This is the same data and the same test format, Google form, except for question 5. Out of 34 students taking the post test, the ones that got the first post test question 5 wrong took it again. So, if I would consider the differentiation of students in need for question 5 of the post test, making paper and pencil annotation and open answer reflection, this would be the result I would have. Means 8 students more getting that question correct. Method 2017 argues that multiple choice and alternative questions are easy to guess. However, adding layers of taxonomy, which I did, guarantee to assess even the lower level skills. Get It All 2010 gave me some insight to answer the validity and reliability of question 5, which I did have my students testing similar scores in previous tests of reading comprehension. So my question 5 is reliable and is valid. My open mind would be changing the student test delivery for students in need and also provide a different test for the student number 21, which tests 0 from the pre-test and then 20 on the post-test. The rationale for improvements of my differentiation techniques comes from learning how to collect and analyze data, implement learning style, interest, feedback to motivate the students, uh, enhance the lesson beyond tier level differentiation. Pertaining technology, I'll keep using Canva, Google Form, Kahoot, Duolingo, and Language Note. My improvement comes from using now College Board, Canva, and Nearpod, which is friendly user and do not require the students to log in. Next time teaching this lesson, I would place at least one higher level student with the groups of students that test 60 on the pre-test. I will do 2 different tests and I will provide 2 different format of tests, paper and pencil and electronic. This is the data analysis references used on the module 8. Thanks for watching.